This truck right here is the new Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Jeep calls it the Desert Runner or Desert Rated, and it has a suspension for some high-speed off-roading. But what if you want to bring a toy with you along for the ride, like I have behind there with a trailer and maybe a Polaris RZR side by side? How would the towing experience change with this brand new truck and a brand new suspension that it has? So in this video I'm gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna tow about 5,000 pounds with this brand new truck. I'm gonna give you a quick real world fuel efficiency result for this truck with a trailer and show you everything about the new Hitch that I'm using today, which is the Gen Y glider. Here's the power plant underneath the hood. It's still the 3.6 liter gas V6 that Jeep has had in many of its vehicles, including the Wrangler. The power rating is still 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. So if you were expecting just more power from this Desert Runner, it's not here quite yet. We still don't know if they're going to include the new turbo diesel, the 3 liter V6 under the hood of this Mojave truck either. Hopefully that's the case. But we already took it off-road, as you can see, and that video is already published on the TFL Truck YouTube channel. So if you want to see some off-roading action and how Mojave compares to the new Rubicon Gladiator, you can always check that out. And this engine is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, so pretty standard fare. And of course it has the big grille for lots of cooling, and even this little camera here for front view. Suspension is what makes this Mojave Jeep very unique. As you can kind of see in here, these are very unique springs, coil springs on all 4 corners. Of course, solid rear axles front and rear, and these brand new 2.5-inch body Fox shocks with remote reservoirs. There's also a hydraulic Jounce bumper here in the middle, and of course up in here is the remote reservoir, and in the back kind of the same story. Unique springs and these massive shocks that are hiding under here with, in this case in the back, a piggyback remote reservoir. So this Jeep is meant for high-speed off-roading, has the shocks and the springs to do it, but it also decreases the maximum towing capacity on this Jeep to 6,000 pounds. A Rubicon configured like this for the Gladiator would be rated at 7,000 pounds, and the maximum Gladiator towing rating for a Gladiator Sport is 7,650 pounds. Just like with any off-road truck like a Ford Raptor or a Power Wagon from Ram, you are sacrificing a little bit of towing capability when you're choosing the desert running ability of this truck. The trailer I'm using today is this 18-foot Northstar Iron Bowl that we got from our friends at Jayhawk Trailers in Denver, Colorado. And this trailer is kind of an overkill because it has a total capacity of around 11,000 pounds, and I'm hauling about 2,000 pounds with this new Polaris RZR on top. So total load weight, trailer is of around 3,000 pounds, the RZR is around 2,000 pounds, so total 5,000. And some of you questioned us to say that this is a 3,000 pound trailer, but gross vehicle weight on the trailer is 14,000 pounds. The maximum payload according to the manufacturer is 11,180, but that was before we put on an extra spare tire on. So if you subtract the weight of the spare tire and the mount system right here, the total payload of the trailer is around 11,000, and the trailer curb weight is about 3,000. And for this test, my ballast is this 2020 Polaris RZR Pro XP 4-seater. This is a turbocharged model, has about 181 horsepower, and if you want to see more about this Polaris, check out TFL Off-Road channel. We have a lot more videos around this particular razor with a buyer's guide.
What's going on, guys? Alex here with TFL Off-Road. Right now we have two Polaris side-by-sides in our office, and those are the Razor Pro XP Ultimate and the Razor Pro XP4 Premium. We have a 2-seater and a 4-seater.
As I already told you, I'm using this new Gen Y glider hitch. It's a hitch that's useful for smaller towing jobs like I'm doing today. Maximum capacity on this hitch is 7,000 pounds. But it's height adjustable. It has a torsion axle, miniature torsion axle right here in this section. It's basically a steel rod with rubber bands surrounding it, so it works like a regular torsion axle, and it should go up and down. In this video, I'm also gonna give it a quick test and show you how it works while driving. And guys, check them out using the link in the description below, genyhitch.com. Here at TFL Truck, we use Gen Y heavy-duty hitches. Right here I have a height adjustable hitch, and I'm gonna swap it out for this new one, the glider. It has a torsion cushion, and it cushions the load, and I'm gonna test exactly how that works today as well. This is also a height adjustable plate, but I'm gonna put it on the highest setting because the trailer right now is set up to be at a very high position. So I'll see if I can adjust the trailer as well, but I want to test this properly and actually use this plate properly. This Iron Bull trailer comes with a height adjustable tongue, so I'm going to use that to my advantage and lower this a little bit so the truck and the trailer are all nice and level. I don't have to go far. I'll go one spot down. A specialty off-road truck like this has a softer spring for the suspension, a more sophisticated shock, like these Fox shocks in this case. And it's not the best for towing, which is why this truck is rated at 6,000 pounds. So I want to measure the squat and kind of show you what to expect when you're carrying a load like this. So unladen, without the trailer attached, we are sitting at, and I'm gonna measure up to this orange fender, 36 plus 5, 41 and a half. 41 and a half with no weight on the hitch. Alrighty, let's back up and hook up the trailer. And I'll also use my handy camera system in the Jeep. Okay, accept. Backup cam. There's my new glider hitch. That's nice. I can see it very clearly actually, and here I can clearly see the tongue of the trailer. Okay, that's quite nice. Let me go outside and see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna lower the trailer down. Okay, so on laden we started with 41 and a half inches, and right here with the full tongue weight of the trailer, 39 and a half. So 2 inches of squat, which is for an off-road truck like this, it's not too bad. Here it is, 39 and a half to the orange fender loaded. All right, we're being very safe, hooking up the breakaway cable for emergencies, hooking up the chains, crossing the chains so it cradles the hitch on the bottom. The chains and the hookups on the Jeep are very easy to use. And finally, the electrical connection comes in right here. So that's all good. Because the Gladiator does not come with a trailer brake controller from the factory, it's actually sold as an accessory by Mopar. I'm using this Prodigy aftermarket remote control brake controller, and the way it works is it takes the wiring input from the trailer. This is a 7-pin connector, gets plugged in into this controller that's mounted horizontally on the trailer tongue in a very fancy way with zip ties, and then the cable from the controller goes into the truck, and then you can test the lights and the brakes, and then you can control your brakes on the trailer. And here's the other side of this remote trailer brake controller. It basically uses a 12-volt power right here in the cab, and it has an emergency manual override switch and the boost and gain controller on the side. Actually, this is the power controller, and the boost controller is the button on top. But basically, C means connected, and you can take this controller from any tow vehicle to any tow vehicle. And if you have the same trailer, boom, your trailer brake controller is already functional. Although this does not work if your truck already is wired for integrated brake controller. So this is only for trucks with no built-in trailer brake controllers. You cannot double down on your controllers because they might burn each other out. As you can tell, of course, I'm filming by myself. We are doing social distancing, and I just want to thank you guys for watching. Also want to thank, obviously, my family for supporting me, and everybody else at TFL. And of course, the local community. Like, for example, I'm using Adams 12 school parking lot to do part of this video. I really appreciate that. Maximum payload on this truck is around 1,200 pounds. This particular sticker on the door tells me just over 1,000 pounds of payload on this truck, and I have a tongue weight of around 500 pounds. So a couple things. The suspension is not bottoming out quite yet. I don't feel that. And I think this Gen Y hitch is actually helping quite a lot. It's taking some of that shock of that trailer coming down on that hitch out of it, and actually makes for a more pleasant driving experience. When I was using the regular Gen Y hitch, the non-torsion one, I could feel quite a few more bumps coming through this truck with this trailer. But this Gladiator is actually making it a smoother ride. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna top off, as always. Fill up, wait 30 seconds, and let it top off. This truck is using a 21-gallon tank, which is one of the larger ones in the mid-size truck segment. There are a few other trucks with a smaller tank, but a truck like Toyota Tacoma, which this directly competes against, especially the Tacoma TRD Pro, has a very similar sized tank. EPA rating on this truck is the same as the Rubicon or the other four-wheel drive Gladiator trucks: 17 city, 21 highway, and 19 combined. Alright, I'm gonna wait 30 seconds and then top off. Alright, that's all full. I'm gonna reset the trip meter. There we go. And run a little mixed city and highway loop. And this Jeep also has auto start stop, which I am using right here at the traffic light. And I don't mind it. Yes, it's a little bit, you could feel the engine restart once you get going again, but in the name of saving a little bit of fuel, I think it's okay. I'm used to it now. So as soon as I let go of the brake, right there, it restarts. There's no special tow mode or tow haul mode on the Gladiator. Jeep engineers told me originally that when the vehicle detects the additional load, pulling heavier weight, the computer detects it and actually adjusts the transmission, which is the 8-speed here, and adjusts how it's shifting. And I can see that it doesn't give me a lot of grade braking. I've never noticed a lot of grade braking capability from this transmission in the Gladiator, meaning to help me slow down on the downhill. But the transmission is very smooth and it's holding the gears a little bit longer. I can tell, like right now. If I wasn't towing, it would have shifted by now. So it is adjusting to this heavy load. And this truck is, you know, about 1,000 pounds away from its maximum, so it's working fairly hard. But it's still stable as a rock. So you're not giving up any stability at speed. This truck is using a 5-link rear suspension setup, and it's very, very similar to the one on the Ram 1500, which is a bigger truck, a full-size truck. They actually share some of the components on the rear suspension as well. The Gladiator also has a long wheelbase, which overall makes it pretty stable. The Gladiator also has this long wheelbase, which also makes it very stable, with a trailer behind it. And one more thing on my wish list for the Gladiator for towing are actually mirrors with a little bit more reach. It's not a problem today because this flat deck trailer with the RZR behind me, I can still see over the fenders of the trailer and I can see everything that's happening behind me pretty nicely. But if this was a camping trailer or something a little bit wider and bigger, I would have issues using these mirrors. These mirrors are for off-road purpose, to make the truck narrower and fit through tight places, but it's not the best for towing. So maybe eventually Jeep will introduce a mirror that extends a little bit further, maybe an adjustable mirror, something like that. That's my wish list. So my conclusion, towing with a Mojave truck, it's stable. It probably needs a little bit more power, but the power it does have is adequate. The squat is noticeable, but the suspension is working still really well with additional load put on it. But I think the secret weapon today for me was the Gen Y hitch that smoothed out the ride a little bit nicer. So it does actually make sense if you do tow a lot, or if you're towing maybe on a washboard road, maybe something a little bit rough. A hitch with some cushion in it makes a lot of sense. So let me get actually to the fuel pump and give you the final fuel economy number for this particular test. Little impromptu real world fuel efficiency test on this truck. And that'll be it. Okay, so it's showing 11.9 fuel efficiency on the trip meter. Let me get the pump reading and double check it. Alright, here's the final number. 2.026 gallons I used. So let's do the calculation. According to the map, I went 24 miles. Divide by 2.026 equals 11.8. Alright, so basically identical to what the computer was saying. Actually not a bad result for towing 5,000 pounds with an off-road truck like this. Alright guys, so I was pleasantly surprised by 11.8 mpgs with this truck on this short mixed loop, city and a bit of highway as well. And guys, go back to tfltruck.com for more news, views and real world truck reviews. And of course a lot of off-roading and also Ike Gauntlet, world's toughest towing test. Thanks.